The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 7. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and say it right at the start of this video. This episode is pretty good. I don't know what they were thinking with the last episode, but this episode right here, my dude, this episode's good. So, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and we're gonna talk about this episode. We start off with Elia Kane giving Moff Gideon some intel, and then Moff Gideon having a business meeting with some Imperial guys. In this meeting, they identify one of the guys as a Hux. That's right, related to General Hux from the sequel trilogy. But I guess I don't need to prove anymore that The Mandalorian and all these new shows are somehow going to tie into the sequel trilogy. That's pretty much already been proven with the announcement of the Rey movie. But this is interesting. This character must be, I guess, General Hux's father, or something like that, uncle. They have to be related in some way. And I'm interested to see, where does General Hux come from? Because this character seems a little bit too old to be the actual General Hux, and this show takes place sometime before all that shit happens. Oh, and spoilers for this video, by the way. If you haven't seen this episode, go ahead and watch it before you watch this video. Or you can watch it anyway. Don't let me tell you what to do. I love that Moff Gideon is back, and he's looking better than ever. I figured that after his defeat, I wouldn't take him seriously anymore, but this episode is proving me wrong. Now that I think of it, this episode is the first real appearance of Moff Gideon in this season. Moff Gideon and the rest of the Imperials are waiting on Thrawn to come back and resume leadership. Meanwhile, Moff Gideon wants leadership for himself, and that's what he's trying to claim. I mean, it's pretty obvious by his outfit that he's trying to be the new Darth Vader. You know, he's even a black man, which is good. Next we see the Mandalorians, and they make no time going back to Mandalore to start trying to reclaim the place. Also, Grogu gets a new suit for some reason. I wonder if he's actually going to use it. Once they get there, we find out that there are actually a few Mandalorians already living on Mandalore. You would have thought that these guys would have been contacted some other Mandalorians to try and reclaim the land. But it's whatever. You know, this guy's a black man, and he has a pretty cool voice. He looks pretty cool, so I'll give it a pass. This guy on the right looks like that one pirate from Pirates of the Caribbean, the one with the eyeball that keeps popping out. There's a scene where Din Djarin pledges his loyalty to Bo-Katan. It's pretty awkward, and the entire time I'm just thinking, why don't they just kiss already? Like, do something. You can officially call me a Din Djarin Bo-Katan shipper, because I think it's bound to happen at some point. There's no way they're not setting that up. Afterwards, the Mandalorians get murked by a giant monster again. Why does that keep happening to them? Why do they keep randomly encountering these giant monsters and losing to them? It's almost like the Mandalorians encountering giant monsters and losing is a running theme. It sort of happened 4 times already, 3 times already in this season. Let's see, we have the 2 that happened on the shore in their old hideout. And then we have Bo-Katan encountering the Mythosaur on Mandalore. And now we have this one, which destroys the boat that they're sailing on and kills a few of the Mandalorians, which they don't go back for, by the way. I wonder why they didn't at least check to see if they were still alive, because I feel like a few of them were still alive when the monster blew it up. And so the Mandalorians venture to the Forge and find out that the place is actually inhabited by former Imperials. And not just any former Imperials. Moff Gideon himself is there on Mandalore, using it as his base already. This tracks with him having the Darksaber and knowing a lot about Mandalorian culture in the first 2 seasons of the show. And he's also sporting new Beskar armor. But I think they should introduce another villain into this show that's on the same level as Moff Gideon in terms of presence and activity in the show, because Moff Gideon already lost to our protagonist once. So there's not really any point in having him fight again. I think he's better as like a schemer and the mastermind than he is an actual combatant, even though he has his new suit. But I mean, it's still good. Don't get me wrong. I still enjoy his performance, and I think he's still a good character. So Moff Gideon traps most of the Mandalorians in a room while Din Djarin gets captured and taken off. When they try to escape, we get probably the best scene in this episode. Maybe, actually, scratch that. This is probably the best scene in this season of the show. Paz Vizsla sacrifices himself I would have thought that, maybe he can't take out all of these stormtroopers by himself, right? And it's pretty fucking badass. I'm not gonna lie. I honestly thought he was just gonna get gunned down as soon as the rest of them escaped. But no, he actually fights and defeats all the stormtroopers by himself. No wonder they call him the heavy infantry. This dude, Paz Vizsla, is a complete Chad. He's a complete Giga Chad. Oh yeah, and if you're liking this video so far, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe, or maybe a comment if you think that Paz Vizsla is a Giga Chad. So they only take him out with some special shock troopers. I don't know what they're called. Forgive me. But they finally take him out, and it takes all three of them to pin him down and kill him. This death scene is so epic, so amazing. I'm at a loss for words. I wasn't even that big of a fan of this character. I just thought he was a pretty cool background character that Din Djarin fights somewhat regularly. He's basically Din Djarin's rival. But this scene right here, this is what made me really like him. This scene probably cements him as one of the best characters in this show so far. Fuck Grogu not doing anything. Fuck Bo-Katan. Paz Vizsla is that dude. Jon Favreau, your duty is done. You've given this character the death he deserves. These are the good deaths in fiction that make watching a show worth it, in my opinion. The episode pretty much ends there, and I'm okay with that. That's a good ending point. I just think with this episode, it's really interesting how Moff Gideon has already set up an entire base on Mandalore. He's been using Mandalore as his base of operations, probably this entire time. Honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. This is a genius move for this show that puts the Mandalorians in direct conflict with Moff Gideon. They have to get rid of him. Maybe this was foreshadowed, I'd have to go back and see, but as is, this is an amazing twist. There is one small plot hole though. How did the Mandalorians that still live on Mandalore, how did they not know that Moff Gideon was there, or that there was an Imperial base there? I feel like that would be pretty obvious to anybody that still lived on Mandalore. That, hey, there's an Imperial presence here. You know, we see ships taking off from here all the time. So there's probably Imperials somewhere in this area. Why didn't they think of that? Is it a plot hole? Or maybe they led him there on purpose. They led him to that trap on purpose. I think we'll find out in the next episode, which I'm very excited for. I can officially say that this season is back on track after the last episode. But that's pretty much it for this video. Please leave a like and a comment, and subscribe, of course. Share this video. That's the most important thing you could do. If you're a true fan, share this video. And go watch my YouTube short series. You might like it. Anyway, that's all. Have a good one. And I'll see you in the next video.